Hello, everyone. Welcome to our integration call. I'm super excited to be here with you. It was like 1 week ago when we were spending like a few hours together doing so many things. And before we start, I would like to ask you, where are you joining from? Which city? Manchester, Birmingham, London, or you are in another place of the world? So please share in the comments, and I would like to see where you are now connecting from. I'm back in my hometown, so I'm in the south of Spain, in Marbella, Bristol, okay, Birmingham. Manchester, London, Manchester, Salisbury, Manchester, London, amazing, Manchester, London, England, Kent. Okay, amazing. Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing and thank you for being here. And I told you this call is very important. So this is an integration call. Um, we were doing many different practices last weekend, and some of them were very powerful. We felt so many different things, and I know that you have some questions. So I want to make this call dynamic. I have the comments on a big screen in front of me, and also on my laptop here next to me. So if you have any questions, if you would like to share anything, please do it. It's not a monologue. I don't want to be just talking to you all the time. So I want to answer your questions. I want to see how you are doing after the workshop. So before we start, I would like to talk about the agenda, what we are going to be doing today. So we're going to be talking about what's happening in the workshop, the effects of the workshop, what is common in those workshops. And I would like you to share as well how you felt, what you felt, and we're going to discuss that. I'm going to also be talking about why we do those exercises and what is the target of doing those exercises. We're going to be also talking about integration because, integration is a very important element. There is no transformation, there is no healing if we don't have an integration. So integration is very important to process, to understand what happened in this workshop. We're going to do a few exercises. I'm going to show you a few exercises that I really like and you can use at any time, any day. Those exercises are very powerful. They are integration exercises to help you relax and to understand what happened also during the workshop. And I'm going to be here to answer any questions. I know that some of you have questions about what's happening in the workshop. Is totally normal, so feel free to use the chat box at any time. And before we start, I would like to go through an exercise. This is going to be a grounding practice, so we're going to do some breathing exercise. We're going to be inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. We don't want to go so deep like we did in the workshop. It's more about connecting to ourselves. It's more about feeling ourselves. This is the target. So we're going to be inhaling through the nose for around 3-4 seconds, exhaling through the mouth for around 3-4 seconds. Okay? So I invite you for this one to sit down to find a comfortable seated position, and we're going to start all together. So close your eyes, and here we go. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Eyes closed, in, out, in, out, in, out. 30 more seconds, in, out. Focus on the breath, in, out, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, in, exhale. 10 more seconds. We're almost there. 2 more breaths, in, out, in, out. And now fully inhale, fully exhale, and hold the breath after exhaling. And placing your hands with your eyes closed, placing your hands in a part of your body where you feel sensations, where you feel something going on in your body. You don't need to really understand what is happening. So place your hands there and connect to this part of you and feel this part of you. Maybe there is some information, maybe there is some wisdom, maybe They are simply sensations, emotions. So feel that part of you. Inhale fully and hold the breath. And keep your hands there in that part of you, feeling your body, feeling the sensations. And exhale with any sound. Keep your eyes closed. And maybe changing the place of your hands to another place of your body. And finding another spot where there is something going on, where you feel sensations, where you feel some maybe emotions, where you feel a blockage, where you feel maybe peace, or where you feel pleasure, whatever it is there, and connect to that part of you. And inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. In. Out. In. Out. And coming back and opening your eyes. And probably you felt something today. So I want to invite you to write down in the chat box what you have felt. And if there is anything that you have felt today that you also felt in the workshop last weekend. So feel free to share in the chat box, because when we are sharing all together, it's very good now for me. I know, I think this is a comment about the sound. Okay, calma with the breathing. Okay. Feel like my nervous system is activated. Okay. Linda is feeling grief. Christina is saying unsettled. Vardas is saying tingling feel in my whole body. Arabella is saying warmth. Created the space. More grounded. I feel jittery. Okay, so we feel different things. More space inside. Quite raw in my heart around area since last weekend. Calmer. My shoulders are more relaxed. Connected with my family thought. Felt the blockage on the right side of my heart. Vibration in legs and neck. Okay. I feel more disconnected and fatigued. Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, sharing is pretty good. So the thing is that the fact of stopping and breathing and coming back to your body, the body has messages, has information. And this is what I explained last weekend. We are doing all these practices to feel. Because we are always focused on the mind, and the mind doesn't have all the answers. The body has many answers, and when we stop, we do those exercises, we feel the body. Some of you are feeling calmer, and it means that you're feeling grounded. You feel like the breath is helping you. Some of you are feeling like disconnected or fatigued, or are connecting to some emotions, some sensations that are not so nice and not so pleasant. But this is part of you, and it's good that you feel it, because this is part of you. This is part of your body, and the body is communicating to you. It's telling you, hey, I'm feeling this, and you need to do something with that information. And I want to ask you, oh, it means children arguing. Okay. I want to ask you, what was your biggest takeaway from the workshop? Your biggest insight, your biggest lesson from the workshop? I would like also to know, because, we come to those workshops, we feel many different things, but it's not only about feeling sensations and tingling sensations. So it's also about learning. What is your lesson for you? How much grief I carry inside me? And it's not a problem. We don't need to feel bad about feeling this grief. This grief is part of us, okay? And we are all humans, and we all feel something. If you don't feel any grief, if you don't feel any sadness, if you don't feel any unpleasant sensations, something is wrong, okay? So it's part of the process. It's part of the human experience to feel grief or other unpleasant sensations. Okay, what are the takeaways? That I can breathe harder than I thought I could. Yes. Inner connection. Felt love growing and becoming happier. That they have the power to make change with support. The amount of things that came to mind made me realize how much I have been carrying. Yes, we spend our whole lives carrying a lot of stuff that we don't need, and the problem is that this is not useful, and this is somehow blocking our lives. And it's good to know, once we are Once we know, once we bring awareness to what we are carrying, then we can do something about that. Learn to find a place of peace, feeling expansive. I realized how I was holding on to a lot more sadness and negative feelings about myself than I realized. And it's really great that we can really know this. Letting go of bitterness. I realized my heart was not open. It's super common. It's super common. We feel like we are fine and we want things in our lives. We want to start a new relationship. We want to love. We want to feel things, but we are blocking ourselves. I felt how I wasn't happy, how painful it was to forgive myself. We don't need to forgive always very quickly. Sometimes forgiveness takes time. It's like there are different layers, and we don't need to forgive really quickly. So sometimes forgiveness takes time, and even months, and even years. I was shocked at my extreme emotional reaction. I have been storing massive amounts of grief. Yeah, I felt battered on Friday and the next few days. Use your voice. My mantra since Sunday. Use your voice. Something that they say very typically. Connected with my inner child, what sadness and loneliness it has come through and how it presented in my currently emotional blockages. It's also made me realize how much energy I have wasted trying to prove my worth to the wrong people. Yes, feeling the power of shared space, Angie. Yes, making a space for all the feelings, even the most difficult ones. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for sharing. This is super important, and it's very important that we all share because maybe you have your own experience and you feel like, okay, maybe this workshop is only about feeling grief or feeling sadness or feeling like your heart is closed. You can feel many different things, and something super interesting is that when participants come back to the workshops, they feel something different every time. So it's like you are peeling new layers. And the thing is that what happened in the workshop is like it's different for every person. You know, we are in different stages, and then the body is communicating to you during the workshop. I like to compare those workshops to an onion. Okay, so imagine an onion with different layers. Each layer is a different layer of sensations that you're going to have. Normally, when people come to those workshops, they feel like more physical sensations. This is the first layer. Physical sensations is, for example, tingling sensations, or you feel it's hot for you, it's cold for you, or you feel tension in the body. You feel any physical sensations. This is very common. This is very typical in the workshops the first times. Then the second layer is emotional. So you are able to connect to emotions. You're able to connect to sadness. You're able to connect to unpleasant but also pleasant sensations. Once you are able to go even deeper inside, once you're able to surrender even more and to breathe even more and to say, I'm okay with whatever I'm feeling, I'm not going to start thinking about what is happening or try to understand, then you can go deeper inside and you can connect to your visions. Some of you had visions, had insights, and realized that, oh wow, I need to change this in my life. I need to change my job. I need to quit my job. I need to quit my relationship, for example. Or I'm not setting boundaries. I don't know how to say no. I don't know how to say yes. So you go deeper inside and then you get information. And when you are able to even surrender more and to feel even more, people talk about an psychedelic experience. So some of you might know ayahuasca, you know, or psychedelics or magic truffles or similar things. So the experience that we can have when we go even deeper, when we surrender even more, when we continue going, can be psychedelic. We can see a lot of stuff, and we can connect to a very powerful energy that on a daily basis we cannot feel. It's really hard to feel. Okay, so this is available to us. So the more we do, the more workshops we do, the more practices we do, the more we are going to feel. Of course, imagine that you are coming with a big blockage in your heart. And then you start doing the practices, and then you feel something going on in your heart. And then you are more focused on your heart. You feel like, oh, I cannot breathe properly. Something's going on. There's pain here. So what is going on? And you keep going. You keep breathing, and nothing works. So probably this blockage is so huge, is so big that you cannot go so deep. Also, the thing that happens with us, these practices, is that sometimes our trauma or our blockage is so huge that we are not going to feel it. We are not going to connect to that. Why? Because the body, your nervous system, knows that you are not ready for that. imagine that, we have had cases of people coming with, for example, sexual abuse, and they didn't see anything. And after a few workshops, after a few practices, or when they joined one of our programs, suddenly in one of the sessions, they saw the sexual abuse. They were not aware. The mind tried to hide it. And then this was in the subconscious mind, but somehow they were not aware. But suddenly in one of the sessions, they realized. Why they realized? Because the nervous system is ready to process what happened in the past. So the experience is going to give you exactly what you need. And what you need is different every time. If you are a person who is, for example, judging all the time, judging everything, judging people, judging sounds, judging the person next to you, judging the behaviors of other people, this is going to happen to you during the workshop. You're going to feel very triggered. And this is part of the process because the triggers are talking to you. The triggers are there to teach you. Sometimes we feel bad about our triggers. We feel like, but I don't want that. But this is part of your introspection, is part of your self-development. Thanks to your triggers, you can understand. You can understand that, for example, the ones that got triggered because there were people crying, you understand that maybe you don't allow yourself to cry. Maybe when you were a kid, your parents told you that it's not okay to cry. Or you're a man, men don't cry. Or you're an adult already, so you should not be so emotional. So this kind of stuff is blocking us. And then the way of manifesting to us, the way of showing us that there is something wrong is through the effects, it's through those sensations, it's through what happened to you, it's through this sadness, this grief that you were mentioning here in the chat. So there are many things that can happen as well. Shaking. Shaking is very often a trauma release. So some of you maybe felt like something weird in your legs, maybe suddenly shaking your body. Not when I asked you to shake and I was shake, shake, shake and release, shake and release. Not in that moment, but at some point you felt like my body's moving alone. My body is like doing something weird. This is part of the process. And very often this is emotional release or trauma release. What do we do with that? We don't do anything at all. We just let it happen. This is part of the process. The body is healing. It's like, it's like animals. My dog, when he's in a traumatic situation or like in a challenging environment, he starts shaking to just release this tension. So then after he's shaking, he's perfectly fine. He's not traumatized. So dogs and animals know how to release that trauma. Mammals, not all the animals, but mammals know how to release and how to avoid trauma. And in one way is shaking or making sounds as well. This is why I'm pushing you to make sounds all the time. This is why some of you, even without asking you to make sounds, you were yelling, you were making sounds. Weird sounds, and all of that is part of the process. So it's not uncommon. Don't feel bad because you were doing weird things. This is part of the human experience. You need to know that all of you, 100% of you, whatever you felt, this is a human sensation, it's a human feeling, and it's completely normal. So we need to normalize what happened in the workshop because this is completely normal. It's part of the healing process, okay? And I see here, more comments, and I really love your comments, guys. Okay. When I tend, I feel, John is saying, when I tend, I feel like emotions flushed out and low for a few days, trauma released, then I feel really good. Or sometimes if I attend, I don't let trauma out, I feel like I want to go raving with lots of energy. You're coming to the workshop, then I give you the opportunity to release techniques that are going to make you feel a lot. And then if you block it and you keep it inside, you're going to feel it as a explosion, like a lot of energy that were not released. And then you need to do something with that energy. So imagine that you connect to a trauma or you connect to a blockage and suddenly you want to release it and you want to use your voice, but suddenly you think, no, they're going to think that I'm crazy, and you don't do it. What is going to happen? What happens is that you're going to keep the stuff with yourself. You're not releasing, you're not healing, you're not changing anything. So you keep the same energy. Okay, so you're not completing the cycle. And I will talk about cycles as well later. Some of you are also felt, please, connection to something bigger. We were working with life force energy. We were connecting to a powerful energy. So this is possible. It's like a mystical experience. This happens more often when we do more sessions, when we do more practices. So this is coming after a few practices. But there is like a natural, like logical, like structure. So if you have many blockages in your life, if you have many traumas, if your body is full of stuff, is very blocked, it's really hard to connect to this mystical experience. You're going to feel bad things. You're going to feel unpleasant things. It's not bad. It's more than bad, it's unpleasant. So your body is going to feel a lot of unpleasant stuff. And it's normal. It's okay. You feel it, you release it. And once your body is ready, is when you're going to go into those mystical states. Okay? Some of you also felt pressure, the energy, colors, like fire as well, light as well, expansion. All of this is part of the process. So I'm going to invite you to do another exercise. So we're going to, we're going to do another exercise. We are going to inhale through the nose for 2 seconds. We are going to exhale through the mouth for 2 seconds. And this is going to be a bit more activating. In the beginning of the call today, it was a very soft one. And some of you said, I feel more grounded, I feel calmer. Let's try with something more intense and let's see what happens. And then I'm going to ask you to write down in the chat box what you felt. So close your eyes and we're going to inhale through the nose for 2 seconds, exhale through the mouth for 2 seconds. And let's try it. Okay, let's go. Thirty more seconds. Faster now. And fully in, fully out, and hold the breath after exhaling. And in this state, feel your body, feel the sensations. Fully in and hold the breath. And exhale with any sound. And very quickly, with a couple of words, 3 words, what is the difference between this exercise and the previous one? What do you feel now? Floaty. I felt lightheaded. Okay. More energized. Much more tingly. Yes, floaty as well. Much stronger feeling. Lightheaded and tingling in hands and feet. More lighter, more open. Lighter in head. Much more calmer, relaxed, more tired and dizzy. I feel tightness in my chest. High, tingly, lightheaded, getting the heartbeat faster and heavy head. More energy, movement around body, more energized. Nervous system buzzing, activated. I felt easy. Thank you guys for sharing. So each practice has a different purpose. So what's happening in the workshop, these were like 3 hours, 30 minutes, 4 hours, and we combined many different practices and all of them had a purpose. So we didn't do like random exercises. All of them had a purpose. Also, what I mentioned or what Jordan facilitated had a purpose, and there is always science behind what we are doing, okay? So what you're feeling is part of the process. I also want you to invite you to think about the workshop. And I want you to think about which technique or what exercise do you think it was more healing for you that day? What do you think it was more useful for you? So it would be great if you can share in the chat box. The last phase, yes. If you have also a specific technique, you can also share. The third phase, the most impactful, working on my narrative. When we went into realizing the pains and letting go. Yeah, the first phase, finding the limiting beliefs and replacing the limiting beliefs. The whole sequence building up. Of connecting to your inner child. The third phase, breathing through and out through the mouth, breathing in and out through the mouth. Yes, this is very, very super activating. Julius, and connection to source and imagining a protecting figure. Yes, it's finding, when we do those practices, we don't only want to feel things, we want to find protection. We want to understand that we can come back to resourcing, to protection at any time. So it's not about being naked or emotionally naked or vulnerable all the time. So we need to feel protected as well. And this is why we're having this call. We're having this call to talk about integration, because it's not about feeling many different things and then just let it open and becoming vulnerable and not knowing what to do with this vulnerability. I'm going to talk more in a few minutes about the integration and what you can do. Exercise where you lie on back and lift the buttock, release a lot of trauma. Anisha is mentioning this one. This is for the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle is one of the muscles that is going to be more impacted when we are in a traumatic environment, a traumatic situation. So imagine that you are in a traumatic situation. You have, for example, a car accident. And then the first reaction is the psoas muscle, because the psoas muscle is the one that is going to give you mobility. So this is why it's getting impacted. This is why there is trauma in that area. There's a lot of trauma in the belly area and also in the psoas muscle area. So this is why we normally do it in the workshops. And I felt each practice was healing in different ways. The last one was most powerful. And when the sound of the child, connecting to ancestral trauma and inner child. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for sharing. And I want to tell you why we do those practices. We are on the stage, we are talking, we are guiding you, and sometimes looks like a show, but really, this is not a show. This is like a workshop that is for you. We are there for you. We are creating this magical space, and we are creating those techniques, and we are trying our best for you. And it's not for us to show you, look at how impressive those techniques are. We are there for you to make you feel. Why do we do those practices? And sometimes, because, sometimes people say, why am I doing this? Why am I crying here? And if we talk about the nervous system, if we talk about trauma, when you are in a traumatic situation, imagine that you are 5 years old, okay? You are with your family, you are at home. And then you are 5 years old. You don't know how to say yes, how to say no. You don't know how to set boundaries. You don't know how to protect yourself, right? Because you are a kid. But then suddenly you see at home that there is a challenging situation. You see maybe your father hitting your mom. And then he's becoming very aggressive. You don't know what to do to stop that. You are there. And then what is going to happen is that your body is going to try to protect you. So you are going to activate what we call the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is going to help you to run away or to fight, or later to go into freeze and then to try to disassociate and to escape from that situation somehow, okay? So your body, your nervous system is there supporting you. So when you are 5 years old, your nervous system is going to be collapsed, you're going to freeze, then your mind is going to somehow forget what's happened. Your body and your mind is protecting you. So this is why you're not going to remember the next years what happened in that situation, because it was so huge, it was so impactful, it was so terrible for you that if you remember that, you're not going to survive. As a human being, you are not going to survive. It's too much for you. So your body is protecting you. In that moment, your nervous system is collapsed. Then the natural cycle of the nervous system will be you activate sympathetic, and then you go into parasympathetic because everything is fine. Okay? So as you didn't have an adult there or some protection, some support in that moment, you cannot go back like smoothly to a parasympathetic. You cannot go smoothly to a state of protection. So what happens there is that this cycle that was started is going to be interrupted. It's going to be interrupted, and it's going to be waiting for you to complete it. So maybe you are coming to one of our workshops, and then we make you breathe in this way, make you make sounds, make you shake your body, and at some point you connect to that trauma. Okay, it's not about connecting to that trauma and then feeling bad about that and crying about that. It's about closing the cycle that you opened when you were 5 years old. This is the target of being in that workshop. This is the target of using your voice. This is the target of shaking. Shaking is because when we have more blockages, more traumas in the body, there is numbness in the body. And numbness is a sign of trauma, of blockages. If we want to get rid of the trauma, we need to bring mobility to the body. A body that can move freely is a body with less traumas, with less blockages. So why do we do all these techniques? We do all these techniques to feel the body, to close those cycles that we didn't close. There are people saying, you know what? I started to cry about a situation that happened a long time ago. I thought that it was closed, that it was completed, that everything was fine. And then I realized that, no, there is something going on. Why do I feel like this? Why I feel so sad? You feel so sad because you didn't complete it. It's not closed. If you're feeling bad about one past relationship, you still need to close that relationship. If you feel like you forgave someone and you still feel about that, it's because forgiveness really didn't happen 100%. It's because you still need to do some work. And this is why we are here. This is why we are coming to those workshops and doing these practices to feel the body, to complete those cycles, to close and to understand, and to maybe bring forgiveness, and maybe to really come back and say, what is going on? What can I do? Sometimes, we don't need to understand. Sometimes our ego mind is going to say, I want to understand everything. I want to understand all the traumas, all the blockages. But I can tell you that it's impossible. It's impossible to understand 100% all your blockages and all your traumas, because sometimes you don't know. The thing is that traumas in the past, long time ago, psychologists thought that traumas are only stuck in the mind. And then this is why they did talk therapy all the time. Now we know that traumas are also stuck in the body. So maybe you have been even working with a talk therapist for 10 years, or you have done a lot of coaching, and still you feel like something is wrong with my life, something doesn't work. I start a new job, I start a new relationship, I start a new thing, and it doesn't work. It's like my body's telling me no. Why? Because the trauma, the blockage is still in your body. So why do we come to those practices? We come to those practices to feel the body, to release what is blocking us, and then to let it flow, this energy, and then to find out what we want in our lives. Once we don't have those blockages, once we can get rid of those limiting beliefs, and then we know that we can do that, we have the potential to do whatever we want to do. In that moment is when we can change our lives. It's when we can transform our lives and can heal our lives. And integration is very important. Integration, I would say that the most of the healing happening in those processes is during integration. Integration is what happens after you leave the workshop. So your nightmares. I read here someone saying, I was not able to sleep that night. It is completely common. It is normal not to sleep well, because it's like you open a box and then suddenly you see a lot of stuff inside that box. That box can be full of traumas, blockages, stuff, emotions, unpleasant emotions. And it's normal not to feel okay afterwards. It's normal to have emotions. It's normal to cry for a few days. It's normal to feel very emotional. It's normal to feel not stable. So integration plays a very important role there. To understand why I feel so emotional, to understand why I cannot sleep, why I feel so sad about a situation, why I feel so vulnerable, why I feel I cannot say yes or no, I cannot set boundaries. So integration plays a very important role to understand. So this is why I told you guys, you need to journal. You need to spend some time with yourself. You need to protect yourself because you are in a vulnerable state. If you go to social media, if you drink alcohol, for example, or you eat something that is not healthy, this is against the process. So if you do something that is not good for your body, it's not good for your system, it's not good for your vulnerability, then you are going to feel not protected, and it might be even negative for you. So I want to ask you now, who of you made any integration exercises after the workshop? Please write shortly, because I have no time to check all the comments, but write if you did something after the workshop. something specific around integration. So I would like to read it. Yeah, Arabella is saying, even if we don't, if we understand everything, that doesn't count as healing. Exactly. Yes, it's not healing. Understanding everything is not healing. If you are understanding all the stuff in your life, but you're not making changes, and still you have all the things in your life, that is not healing, really. I mean, the first part of healing is to be aware, but then you need to work with the stuff. So thank you, Arabella, for this comment. I journaled. I made my list of affirmations, beautiful journaling, awareness of my breath. Yes, probably some of you realize that, now I'm more aware of my breath. I realize that I'm not breathing enough, or that is very shallow, or it's going through the chest. Fantasy is saying, I have been meditating since that on binaural beats and sounds. Amazing. Angie's saying, journaling. I tried some journaling, but it still felt very blocked, so couldn't find words for how I felt. No problem at all. You don't need to know 100% how you felt. It is okay. Okay? So it might be that you need more work before you understand the whole picture. Okay? So don't feel bad about that. Okay? We don't want to feel bad at all with any situation. Okay? I see here, I spoke to my loved ones about what I felt I was releasing. Probably some of you spoke to your loved ones, and some loved ones didn't really understand 100% because they were not there. And it's like, what are you talking about? So this is very common to feel and to experience. As I have always used writing, I journal every night, beautiful. I made changes in my life to forgive others who hurt me. I saw patterns in my past relationships, beautiful. Mini rituals, visualization, mantras, meditated, not guided, just to try to feel what is happening in my body. Perfect. I didn't go on social media and continue some breathwork 2 days later. Sound bath, trying to include some breathwork, yoga nidra, mindful breathing. Leticia is saying, I journal my experience, the aftermath feeling, and what it all meant to me. Gigi saying, I just went to bed after a long journey back home. Beautiful. I tried to use breathing and change my negative beliefs. I was too overwhelmed when I noticed sensations in my body. I work on my breath. Beautiful. Feeling my emotions that came up. Linda saying, I felt a bit lost and empty for a few days, so I struggled to know what to do. Okay. Any of you are invited to contact us. If you feel like, hey, I need support, I feel like it's too much for me. So I told you in the workshops, you can write an email to us, you can contact us on social media, because if you're feeling too bad, we want to be there. We want to support you, okay? But I mean, when, for example, Linda is saying, I felt lost, I felt empty. This is part of the process. This is part of your healing journey, okay? It's not bad. I know it doesn't feel good. I know it doesn't feel pleasurable. I know you don't like it. We don't like to feel bad. But this is part of the healing process. Feeling bad is part of the healing process. On the other side, it's going to be magical. It's going to be beautiful. But feeling bad is part of the process. Some people, you go to social media and you see those quotes and those photos, those images, and it looks like sometimes self-development and improving your life is beautiful and it's easy. And it's like, oh, wow, it's so easy with books, with practices, and a sound healing journey, and this, and a breath work, and everything looks like so perfect, so pink, so amazing. But I can tell you that self-development is not always nice. There are ups and downs. And sometimes, after some time, you think that you were improving all the time, and sometimes you go down. And this is part of the process. It's because you have to feel that. Okay? So I know this is hard, but you have to feel that. But of course, there are practices that we can do, I tell you, that we can do to not feel so bad and to process that. Because when you feel bad, your body's talking to you. It's not that we just need to ignore it and to say, okay, I feel bad. I am going to be even more depressed because it's part of the process. Whereas Alexis said that I cannot do anything about that. You can do. And what you can do is to journal and to try to understand, why do I feel so empty? Why do I feel so bad about whatever in my life? Okay, so to book one more events. Thank you, Angie, for joining us again back. Okay, so thank you guys for sharing all these all your insights. I want to show you a few integration techniques that can help you, can help you in the future. I know that the workshop happened 1 week ago, but still you can use them. I remember like 12 years ago when I started my own journey, I had insomnia. I was living in Germany, Munich. I was not able to sleep until 3, 4 a.m. every night. I was thinking and thinking and thinking. I was like lost, completely lost. I thought that maybe talk therapy, coaching would help me. And I studied like talk therapy, coaching. I became a life coach. And I felt like I still cannot sleep well. I feel like my body is, there is something going on in my body. And if I had known those techniques, I'm sure my life would have changed completely. And I knew later on after I started my own journey, and I can't say that they changed my life. So a few integration practices I'm going to explain to you. One of the integration practices is the breathing. Probably some of you know, is the 4-7-8. 4-7-8 is you inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, you hold the breath for 7 seconds, and you exhale through the nose for 8 seconds. This is one of the breathing techniques that are going to help us to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the state where we feel relaxed, where we feel everything is okay. If you have insomnia, if it's hard for you to sleep, if you feel stressed, if you feel like there is anxiety, your heart is like blocked, this is going to be very helpful. Another thing that you can do is also 4-8 breathing. 4 counts on the inhale, 8 counts on the exhale. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose as well. 4-8 as well. Some people like box breathing as well. Box breathing is like, for example, 4 seconds inhale, 4 seconds holding the breath, 4 seconds exhaling, 4 seconds holding the breath, and then you continue. So it's like in, hold, out, hold, hold, in, hold, and so on. So these practices are really great for integration and can help you to feel your body and to, first of all, calm the body, and on the other side, understand if there is something going on. Another practice that you can do is touch, is body work. So imagine that you feel something going on in your chest. Imagine that, I think one of you mentioned about the chest, about your heart center. Imagine that you feel something here. You close your eyes. You place your hands there. You breathe through your heart, through your chest. And you feel your heart. You feel your chest. And you simply try to feel the sensations. You try to let your heart, or this part of you, this part of your body, to talk to you. And it's not about pushing yourself. It's not about using your mind, but it's simply about connecting to your heart, listening to your heart, because your heart is talking to you all the time. The problem is that on our daily basis, we are not breathing enough. We are in our minds. When we are in our minds, we don't feel the body. But the body is talking to you. Your body is telling you, do this, don't do this. This is not right for you. This is a toxic environment. This is a toxic person. Say no to them. They are trying to cross your boundaries. Or maybe you didn't set boundaries. So your body is telling you all the time things. When you connect to your body, you can feel more. Another practice is connecting to your lower belly. You place your hands on your lower belly, your womb, in women, and then you connect to this part of you. And here you can even relax even more because you are connecting. You can even activate the vagus nerve. You can activate even more your parasympathetic nervous system. And here you are more far away from your mind. So when you connect to your lower belly as well, you can even connect to emotions and understand what is happening in your body. Sometimes in our practices, we are placing one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, and we are trying to connect to those. These are 2 very powerful energy centers. And when you stop here, you close your eyes and simply you connect to those 2 places, you can feel so much about yourself, about your body, about your life, about your energy. So this can be very helpful. I invite you to use your hands in an intuitive way. Remember in the workshop, I told you a few times, use your hands and arms in an intuitive way. Raise your energy. How do you raise your energy? No, I mean, you had your blindfolds. You didn't see me how to raise the energy. But most of you were doing exactly the same. Why? Because your body knew what to do. Your body knows the way. Your body knows the way to heal. It's inner resources. What I'm doing here with you is to guide you. It's not to give you something outside. I'm guiding you because you have all the resources you need to heal inside of you. Everything is inside of you. You don't need a guru. You don't need like something like an object, a physical object outside. You don't need something very special outside. Everything is inside of you. Of course, you don't know the techniques because our educational system should teach those things in school. I think sometimes this is more important than maths or physics or other stuff, okay? But we didn't know, we didn't learn in our school. We didn't learn. Nowadays, you see they're incorporating meditation, breathworking in schools, and this is really amazing. And more, the young people and children know more about these techniques. But if you have my age or similar, you don't know about these practices because we never learned, okay? Some more practices that you can do is to breathe in a connected way like we did today for 1, 2, 3 minutes. I wouldn't do it more than 5 minutes because then you can go into activation. Once you go into activation, you can feel so many things, and then you don't know, you cannot control the timing, you don't know what is going on, and it can be too much for you. So 1, 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, this is okay. And one more technique that I want to give you, because I'm doing this technique always. Before we started this call, I was here on this sofa, and I was doing this technique, and it's really amazing. This is what we call the 20 connected breaths. We breathe through the nose. There are 4 rounds. In each round, we are going to do 4 short breaths and 1 long breath. Let me show you how we do it. And we do it 4 times. In total, it's 20 connected breaths. Your eyes are closed. You breathe only through the nose. 4 short breaths, 1 long breath, 4 times. If you feel like you want to do it even more, you can do it maybe instead of 4 rounds, you can do it 8 rounds. Maximum, I would do 12 rounds, okay? So let's try it all together. Because if we don't try it, sometimes, we forget very easily. So let's close the eyes and let's do this practice all together. So close your eyes, and here we go. And coming back to a natural breath. Maybe your eyes are closed for a few seconds here. And just feeling your breath, feeling the sensations, feeling yourself. And opening your eyes. And how do you feel? I can tell you, I did this with you and I feel like, wow, what is going on? And this was like 1 minute, 90 seconds. Wow. 1 word, 2 words in the chat, because I just shared with you how I felt. I felt like there is, like, in the present moment, like there is no, like I'm in the void, like I'm not feeling anything. I'm not really in front of a few cameras. This is how I felt during this exercise. How do you feel? Wow. Calm. Can feel my heart, blissful, powerful, calm, weightless, connected, zen. I feel bright and connected. Very relaxed, like I want to stay there. Yeah. Like a void, yes, in a void and quietness. Made me yawn. I never yawn. Okay, perfect. If you normally don't yawn and you are yawning, this is a good thing. Waves of energy going up from between my shoulder blades through my head and out. Arabella, wow. Present energy, lighter. Yes. 48 years, yes. Yes. This is what they say, guys. We should learn this in school. This is much more important than many things we learn in school. So the educational system is so grown. Imagine, with the crazy situation we have right now in the world, if the world knew these techniques, the world would be a much better place. But still, maybe we might look a bit weird, mystical to them, but it's just basically breathing. And has been done for many, many years, but we forgot. lighter, energized, happy. Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing. So, those practices are super powerful and they can change our lives. You see, in 1 minute, 2 minutes, they can change our lives. But without commitment, if you come here for 90 minutes with me and then we do all these practices, you learn, you are taking notes of different practices. And then we have we offer you a set of different practices. We have a lot of stuff that we can offer you. We can help you to improve your life. But then if you just go back to your daily life and you don't change anything and you don't commit to changing your life to spend, for example, a few minutes every morning, every day, if you don't make any commitment, it's like, imagine that you want to improve your body shape. And then you say, I'm going to sign up go to a fitness club, and then I want to improve my body shape. But then you just go to one class, you just go to one workshop. Or I want to become more flexible and I want to improve my energy and I go to yoga, but then you just go to one yoga class or you just practice once per month. So what are you going to change? Nothing. We need commitment. Sorry, guys, but without commitment, one workshop is not going to change your life. Of course, with this workshop, I know that most of you realize that, wow, it's possible to have a better life. Wow, it's possible to feel so much. It's possible to feel so much love, so much light. And you discover this after many years. But without commitment, you cannot really change your life. You need commitment. And I want to ask you right now, in this moment, and I want you to be honest, okay? How do you want to commit yourself to improve your life? What are you going to change? What are you going to do? And it would be great if you can write in the chat box quickly, shortly, what is your commitment from now on to improve your life? Arabella, you have so much power. If you are secondary school teacher, to have presence using breath. Give breath more attention. Regular somatic and breath work to live the best life. I'm meditating every morning and evening. Include breath work, start small and build up. More love to myself. Virut is saying to do more breathing work. Regular practice, expand knowledge, and breath work. Alicia is saying to be present in the moment. Breathing, wake up and before bed. Live through my affirmations that I have discovered through the workshop. Beautiful, amazing. I hope you can remember still the affirmations we created there, the empowering truths, because sometimes we forget. Continue with the journey of connecting to myself and healing so that I can be the best version of myself. Integrating breathing. Yes. Schedule time for myself like I do with my family activities. If you don't schedule time for your family, you are going to be very busy and then you will not have time for your family. If you don't schedule time for your health, for your body, for your wellness, then you're not going to improve your life. More conscious breathing, look after myself more, use my voice, Arabella, beautiful. I teach what I learn and help others. I also teach crystal sound, bowl meditation to others, beautiful. To use my breath, to be present and regulate, to create a daily routine. Amazing. Thank you guys for sharing. This is really, really, really interesting. And, something that I like to say, we come to this workshop and we feel so many different things. It's very powerful. And maybe we are changing things. We are forgiving people. We are starting a new business, for example. We are feeling more energized. We feel like some people say, oh, I feel like lighter. I feel like I lost weight after the workshop. But I can tell you that there is so much potential after these practices. There are people, I can tell you about cases of people coming to us. For example, I remember one person, one of our students studying the breathwork facilitator training. She came with severe depression. And then after she finished the program, 4 months later, she went again to the psychologist. She did a test and there was no depression at all after she did the test. So she just did the breathwork training, that's all. There are people who are coming, for example, to one of our retreats, and after a few days in the retreat, they had a lot of inflammation in one part of the body. I remember this guy having a lot of inflammation in one of the knees, and then every time he was doing breath work with us, there was less inflammation. And he was saying, do you see here? Do you see less inflammation? Yes, see it. By the end of the retreat, there was not inflammation at all. There are people really improving their lives, like in many different ways. People starting a new business, people realizing that they need to quit their lives, they need to quit the relationship they are having. They realize that they have so much trauma that they need to change many things in their lives, and they are able to change. So what I want to tell you is that this work is not only to improve yourself a little bit and to feel like lighter or calmer and to have a short transformation now here. With those practices, you can really change your whole life. There are people, something that I do sometimes in the workshops is I invite you to think, to manifest your best life, to think without really any restrictions. Because, some of us are thinking, yes, I have kids, so I cannot do many things, or I have this situation, or I have not so much money, or my job, I'm very busy, or I'm too stressed, or I don't have what I need to improve my life. But I can tell you that you can get rid of all of that. I mean, you cannot get rid of your kids, but you can find a plan, you can make a plan to really make it happen. Everyone can make it happen. So what our mind is doing is creating excuses. Our mind is creating excuses, is protecting itself. It's like your mind very often, what it's doing is like when you are coming to the workshops, you are feeling like, what am I doing here? I would rather prefer to be at home watching Netflix on the sofa. This would be like much more, much easier and better and more relaxed. So, but your body's telling you, no, you're here because you want to improve your life. And I tell you, the potential is huge. I have seen so many cases of people transforming their lives. Of course, with one workshop, we're not going to heal all our traumas. We're not going to transform all our lives, but transformation is possible. Transformation is possible. You can achieve whatever you want. I can tell you many cases of manifestation I have done in the past. Thinking, for example, I remember last year when I started with those workshops, one of the workshops you joined, we started, I think, spring last year. And we went to Bristol, we went to a few cities, and we have in those workshops like 30, 40 people. And it was amazing. But you can imagine how small the groups were. I mean, small if you compare now to the groups that we have. And at some point I felt like I would like to have more people because my mission is to give those tools to more people in the world. And at some point I thought I would like to have hundreds of people. I would like to have hundreds of people in a room because I know also when we have more people, the energy is like bigger and then people can feel even more things. I can tell you that 5-6 months later, we had 500 people in London. And this happened in just 5-6 months. And this was my manifestation. Of course, with hard work and also with commitment. It's not just about manifesting, I want this, and then you're going to get it. When you are committed, when you work hard, and I have a family, I have a baby as well. So I'm busy, I have a busy life. So this is not easy. It's not like my whole life is about just creating workshops. So I have a busy life. But if you want it, you can get it. You can get whatever you want in your life. So let's do a short breathing exercise. And what we are going to do after this short breathing exercise, I'm going to invite you to think about the future version of yourself. And we're going to try to connect to that because sometimes people are confused about manifestation. When they think about manifestation, they say, I want to be rich. I want to have £1 million in my bank account and a big mansion and this and that. And then when you ask them, why do you want to be rich? Why do you want £1 million and a big house? If you have a big house, you need to clean a lot. So why do you need so much money? And sometimes we are confused because our soul is telling us something different. And we don't manifest that because this is not what our soul wants. It's not our mission in this life. So in my case, when I manifested to have hundreds of people in workshops, it's because this is part of my mission. I have realized a few years ago that this is my mission. My mission is to give those techniques to people, to train facilitators, and to spread these techniques. This is my mission. And then the universe somehow is supporting me to make this possible. So if you align with your soul mission, your manifestation is going to happen. And when we are doing breathing, when we really connect to ourselves, is when we can really manifest what we can manifest. So let's close the eyes. What we are going to do is we are going to inhale through the nose for 2-3 seconds, exhale through the mouth for 2-3 seconds. It's going to be something in between activation and soft breathing. So close your eyes, seated position, and let's start. In, out through the mouth. In, 2, 3, out through the mouth, 3, in, 2, 3, out, 2, 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 3, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last breaths, exhale, in, out, in, out. Last few seconds. And fully in, fully out, and hold the breath. And we don't want to think, simply drop into the void, feeling nothing, completely surrender. And fully inhale through the nose and hold the breath. And in this state, connecting to your mission, and without thinking so much, see yourself in 6 months, 1 year, maximum 2 years. How do you see yourself? Who is new? What is new in you? Who is the new version of you? Imagine that everything is possible, that there are no limitations. See yourself. Exhale through the mouth. Keep your eyes closed. And without really trying to understand how you're going to make it possible, simply connect to that version of you, to that future version of yourself, and see it. And maybe you want to change your posture. You can feel it already within you. You can feel this new person. You can breathe like them. You can be already like them. How do you see yourself? Who are you? And what is your mission in this life? Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. In. Out. In. Out. And coming back, opening your eyes. And one more time, I would like you to share in the chat box what you felt, what you saw that maybe is different than what you already know about yourself. How do you see yourself in the future? Who is this new version of you? It would be great if you can write it down and we can get inspired. Back to a braver, more confident me, Linda. Beautiful. Alicia is strong and resilient. Ben is confidence. Arabella, communication, healing, provision, trust. Matthew, I love more and love more. Beautiful. Genevieve, I heal people with hugs. I heal them. Sabah, flat, so connected. felt like I was already that person I visualized. You are already that person, I can tell you. You don't need anything outside. You are already that person, I can tell you. More connected to my true self. Free of stress, happy, confident, spreading love. On and Emily, on imagine myself on at the top of a mountain. Okay, like I have made it and I can do anything. Okay, more powerful and braver, carefree, vibrant, glowing, and radiant peace. My mission is to help others. During the workshop, I wanted to hold my neighbor's hands. Beautiful, confident, fully active, practicing auricular acupuncture. Nav is saying to be in a calm environment which calms me and others. Standing in my power, Juju. Help others and love everyone who come close to me and help those who need help. Rennie. Linda is free from the grown people. Very good. We need that. We cannot really make big things in our lives. We are with the grown people. We need the right people next to us. And this is something that we need to consider. Manifesting my inner power and peace look like a hello out on me visually to draw the things that are meant for me. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you guys for sharing. This is so beautiful. This is so inspiring. Wow, I love it. I love it. And when we do those practices, when we are breathing and then suddenly we are connecting to this manifestation, we can see ourselves. This is not something that you're creating with your mind. Of course, if you stop right now and you think, okay, what do I want in 2 years? I want to do this. I want to become a millionaire, because this is the typical things that people say, right? They think a lot about becoming a millionaire because they believe that just having money is how they're going to be happy. There was like on social media, so I think it was yesterday or today, there was an actor saying, I wish everyone was famous, popular, and an actor and millionaire, something like that. Then they would realize that doesn't really help. Something like that was the quote, like saying, being an actor or being popular or being millionaire is not going to help you. It's not going to really get rid of your traumas, your blockages, and having a happy life. It's not happiness. That is not happiness. Of course, if this is part of your mission in life, this is happiness. Or for example, if you start a new business and you need money for that business, or a charity project, for example, and you need the money, of course, money is important for you. This abundance is very important. To be a millionaire is important for your mission because you need that money to make it possible. Okay? But also, sometimes we think that abundance is something not spiritual and we should not desire abundance, but that abundance is something that we all deserve. It's just energy. So the thing is that we can access to this manifestation very easily when we are really connecting to our body, when we are not thinking from the mind. And we can really achieve whatever we want. We can achieve whatever we want. Without the commitment, it's going to be very hard. And I tell you that it's going to be very hard. I have been in this journey for 12 years. And I know that sometimes I had ups and downs, and sometimes I didn't pay attention to myself. I know that when I started my own healing journey, I had a burnout. I had the biggest burnout of my life. I became celiac, I became lactose intolerant, so I had a really bad life. If you saw me, I had a really bad face at the moment. It's like my life was miserable. I had a very good salary, very good job, but I was miserable. I felt broken completely. And I can tell you that you need commitment. You need practices. You can forget at any time, but you need commitment and you need to come back, and you need to create habits as well. If you are just doing one technique one day, this is not going to improve your life. You need this commitment and you need to create habits. If you are doing these practices every day, this is going to change your life. Sometimes it's just about 5-10 minutes every day. This is what is going to change the habits, and this is how you're going to know how to come back, how to resource yourself, how to ground yourself. You're going to understand what you want. If you just think now with me, what is your manifestation, and then you just come back to your normal life, nothing's going to happen. We need to continue the practices. In case you want to do something with us, with InnerCamp, some time ago I created a program. It's called the 21-Day Activation Program. This 21-Day Activation Program is a program where we offer many different practices. It's for 3 weeks, And then in these 3 weeks, you are going to do everyday practices. And science is saying that when you're doing something for 21 days, it's becoming a habit. And then it's going to be embodied in yourself. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel like, oh, I didn't do my practice today. I need to come back. I need to do it. And it's going to feel natural. Right now, maybe you feel amazing and you feel like, okay, it's amazing. I feel like I like it. It's powerful, but it's not a habit for you. And then it's very easy to forget. So I highly recommend you to join us in this 21-day activation program, because you are going to be able to, and here you are going to be able to make it a habit. You are going to be able to master those techniques. You are not going to need anything outside. You're not going to need a guru, a teacher, a master, anything. So with those practices, you will be able to come back to yourself. You will know, for example, when you are activated, when you are, for example, stressed, when you have anxiety, you will know exactly how to come back, what to do to come back. And then triggers are not going to be a problem. When you are lost in life, you don't know what to do. When you feel a lot of sadness, when you feel like someone is crossing your boundaries, you will know what to say to those people. You will know how to set boundaries, because you're going to be more yourself. If you want to join us in this program, I'm showing here, the guys are going to show you a QR code. We have a special offer. So now the program is 50% off. So the price is 50% off. Instead of 600 euros costs 300 euros only. And also, we are offering this is something that we don't do, but only for today and tomorrow, we are going to give you access to all our virtual workshops for 3 months. So those virtual workshops cost like 20 euros per month. But if you join today or tomorrow, with this QR code that you can see here on the screen, we're going to give you for 3 months access to it's going to be there for 20 seconds, so you have time to use your camera, your phone. So we're going to give you access to 8 virtual workshops every month. Those 8 virtual workshops are 90 minutes of practices where you're going to do many different practices. You're going to do breath work, body work, energy activation, cacao ceremonies plus breath work. You're going to do many practices. And remember, without commitment, it's going to be very hard. So the way I'm here to support you is through this program. This program, it's not about money. If you think about the cost of your blockages, the cost of your traumas, the cost of not changing your life, the cost of keeping the same old limiting beliefs, the keeping the same wrong people next to you, the cost is much, much higher than any price than you can pay. In the past, for me, I have always understood that if I want to improve my life, I need to invest in myself. So if I don't invest in myself, if I just want things just for free, things don't happen. Okay. And the first change that you did, and this was a really great decision, was to come to the workshop and to do these practices. This was very important. This meant that you were investing in yourself. If you invest in yourself, like for example, you would invest in health, in food, in healthy food, I tell you that you are going to change your life so much. And now it's a really great opportunity because we are starting 2026. So instead of doing resolutions, because resolutions in general don't work. Resolutions, we do them, and then after a few minutes after we start the year, it's like we forgot. We are eating sweets, we are eating candies and stuff, and we forget completely what we wanted to do, And after a few days, after a few weeks, the problem of those resolutions and this mindset work is that when you realize that you are not doing the work, your self-confidence is going lower and lower and lower. When you do those things, when you really don't do the work, and then you promise yourself, I'm going to change this in my life, but then you don't do the work, you have less self-confidence because deep inside you believe, you create a limiting belief that you are not able to improve your life, that you are not ready, that you are broken, that this is not possible for you, that there is not an exit. And I tell you, if we don't create a commitment, a habit, it's going to be very hard. So now we still have a few minutes and we have time for questions. So I'm here to answer all your questions. If you have any questions about the workshop, about what happened, about, for example, this program I just mentioned or other programs, about any specific effects that you had that day, please write in the chat box because I'm going to be here for some more time with you and I would like to hear. Amazing. There, I see one person already signing up. Yeah, Guinevere. I think I pronounced your name Guinevere properly. I hope it's fine. Yeah, Linda is asking for the QR code. Guys, could you please show the QR code one more time? Anisha, thank you so much for your beautiful words. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, amazing. So we are having the QR code, but guys, please write in the chat box your questions. I'm here. I want to answer your questions. I want to know from you. I want to know your struggles. I want to know your commitments as well. How are you going? How did the workshop help you in improving your life? And how do you see the future? Do you have hope? I hope you have hope, because my intention in the workshop is to give you hope and to make you understand that a better life is possible. A better life is possible. You cannot imagine how horrible was my life, how broken I was in my life, and I changed my life. And right now, I'm in a position that I'm really connected to my soul, to my mission. I'm manifesting things, and things happen, and it's not luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe that I'm manifesting and really aligned to what I want. So things are much easier for me. It's like the universe is helping me. It might sound very mystical to say that the universe is helping me, but actually, it's basically like, you create a reality where you are yourself, where your authentic manifestation is not about being someone else. We don't want to be someone else. We want to be ourselves. We want to just be authentic. When you understand who you are and what you can give to the world and what is your mission in life, then in that moment is when things can happen. It's when you are really manifesting and things are going to happen in your life. Yes, Rennie, so the 21 days are active online. So they are online, and then you get access. Also, you are going to have access to the training forever. So you can come back in the future, watch the practices and the videos. So sometimes we are improving, we are adding more videos, more content. So you are going to get access to the updates. And also, for 3 months, you get access to 24 virtual workshops. So this is 90 minutes, so it's like 36 hours of workshops. If you cannot join one of the virtual workshops because you say, I am busy, I cannot join, no problem, because we have the replays. Even we have the replays of the last months. So there is so much content that if you don't improve your life there, it's not possible to improve. I'm joking, but there's really so much content that you can really do a lot of stuff. And how food and fasting interfere with breathwork? Yes, interfere. So when you are doing fasting, what is going to happen is that you go into an altered state of consciousness. So if the fasting is very strong, if you're not eating for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days at all, breathwork might be too much for you. So normally we say that if you are fasting for 24 hours, 48 hours, and you didn't eat anything at all, you don't practice a strong breathwork. You do shorter and softer practices, okay? It's like, because, fasting is extreme. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's extreme practice. So breathwork is activating you a lot. So you need to be careful. Why do I recommend to suggest not to eat for at least 2 hours? Because we are doing belly and diaphragmatic breathing, and then every time we inhale, we expand the belly. So imagine that you have food there, so you're going to have a bad digestion. Some people are okay, but in general, it's better not to eat 2 hours before we do an intense breathing. The ones we did today, no problem at all. You can eat, and 20 minutes later, you can do a breathing technique. For 5 minutes, it's okay. But if we go to this intensity like we had in the workshops, yeah, better not to eat, because you can have problems with your digestion, okay? Tell me how different workshops will be in London in the theatre from the workshop. Very good question. On the 24th of January, we're going to be in a theatre in London. This is going to be a new format. It's going to be very different than what we practiced 1 week ago. It's going to be seated. I'm going to show you many different practices. We are going to talk about science. We're going to talk about also the nervous system, trauma. We're going to see the connection between these practices and the science. And we are going to try so many things, and you are going to learn many different techniques in that workshop. It's going to be very very intense. It's not going to be as, let's say, the wild part of the workshops we did last weekend is not going to be like that because we are not laying, okay? And we cannot do body work to you, but you're going to learn many, many different things, okay? I highly recommend it. It's the first time we do it. A few days, Matthew is saying, a few days after the workshop, I feel myself retreating into my inner emotional shell again. How do I keep myself more present and connected with everyone around me? The thing is that you need to differentiate between your body's telling you, hey, you don't need to be with people right now. No, those people are not right for you. And then you need to protect yourself. You need to be isolated somehow for some time. Okay, this is one of the things. On the other side, if you feel like you feel very emotional and you feel too vulnerable with people, then is when you need to change things. Okay, so you need to understand why you don't want to be with people. Is because your body needs not to be with people and it's completely normal, or it's because you're feeling very vulnerable. If you're feeling very vulnerable, it's good to journal. It's good to understand where this vulnerability is coming from, where those sensations, emotions are coming from. There's practices that we are doing here today, and the practices that you're going to find in the 21-day activation program are going to help you to feel and to understand. So it's normal that sometimes we don't understand. After one workshop, we don't understand what happened. What can I do with all these effects, with all these emotions? And then we need to understand. We need to connect all the dots. Shireen said, I have hope. I have had deep feelings that I need to change my situation. I want to work in trauma release. Everyone I told said that I have to heal fast before I can help others. Yes, for example, in all our trainings, in the facilitator trainings, when you want to become a facilitator, in all of them, 50% of the training is self-healing, because it's not possible to become a good facilitator if you have not done the work with yourself. So this is why anyone can join us in our facilitator trainings, even if you have big traumas, big blockages, it doesn't matter, because 50%, like 150 hours of the work, is self-healing. And then afterwards, we go into how to facilitate to people. Because, imagine that you're coming, you facilitate those processes to someone, and then you have your own triggers, traumas, big blockages. Then you might bring some stuff to your clients, and then you might do something wrong. So this is really right. I'd like to work with you at some point. Amazing. So join us in one of our trainings. And then, we normally what we do is we work with our students, and they're joining us in our trainings, and then they are becoming volunteers, and then there are different levels of volunteering, and then at some point they start also working with the team, and they become also facilitators. And so all of them, all the teachers studied with us in the past. We have people who studied in 2018, and some people who studied in 2018, 2019, 2020. They are supporting us, even students that studied a couple of years ago with us. So we love, because we love bringing our students to the team. I also, Shannon saying, I also feel like the fear of who I can be holds me back. I know who I am now, even if I don't like my current situation. I know it. We don't want to change your identity. Your identity is your identity. The problem is that you might be in a position where you are not authentic, where you are trying to please people, where you are trying to do things because people told you that this is the right thing. And then once you understand your traumas, your blockages, your limiting beliefs, you change things in your life. And maybe you start not pleasing people, you start saying no. And it doesn't mean that you are a different person. You are you, but you understand who you are and what is right and what is not right for you. And some people are not going to like it. Some people in your environment are going to tell you, I don't like that version of you, you change. They don't like you because they want to cross boundaries. They want to take advantage of you sometimes, maybe. They want you to say always yes, for example, okay? And sorry, but this is not your problem. It's their problem. If they are not fine, if they don't feel comfortable with you saying no, with setting boundaries, maybe they need to do some introspection, some self-development and heal themselves. It's not your problem. When people get triggered, it's like, we go to those workshops, and my job, I say normally, that is to make you cry and to yell and to get triggered. This is my job. If you get triggered and angry at me because of my Spanish accent, or because of anything else. So this is my job. This is why I'm here, to make you feel triggered. So if people get triggered because you are saying no, you're setting boundaries, or you change and you know what you want in your life, it's the problem. It's not yours. And you're going to be a happy person. So what is the cost of saying yes to them, of pleasing people? What is the cost of not being authentic? What is the cost of not being you, of being someone that people want but not really you want? The cost is very high, I think. And I think we need to think about the effects of trying to please people. I have had shattering changes in my life as well. Precisely, I cannot pronounce anymore. Precisely in moments I was thinking I was done with. I started about 12, 13 years ago. So yes, I look forward to the next flow that will project me forwards in my journey. Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Annabella. I would love to learn how to keep in that high vibration when now my emotion is easier and softer and I feel so down. I get more aware quicker and came back quicker, but cannot seem to be as light and positive as last week after the workshop. You need to keep doing the practices. I'm not telling you do one workshop per day because it would be crazy. So it would be against, it wouldn't be healthy. Okay. So you don't want that. But there are short practices. And this is what we do in the 1-day activation program. You do short practices to keep this high vibration all the time. Of course, sometimes we're going to feel sad. Sometimes we're going to feel down. Sometimes we're going to feel bad. Unpleasant sensations. It's okay. And this is part of the journey. Because sometimes your body is telling you there is something off. There's something you need to change. If you don't, because we don't want to be like in high vibration all the time. High vibration, high energy is good to keep all the time, but we don't want to have always happiness, a smile, and pleasant sensations, because then we don't understand the body. It's very often, this is, it's coming from the mind. It's not your body. Your body is using the unpleasant sensations to tell you things, okay? But of course, there is a moment where you are not doing any practices anymore, so you don't feel pleasant sensations, you don't feel unpleasant sensations, you don't feel anything at all. You are numb. And what do? You watch Netflix, you eat a lot of chocolate, you go to McDonald's to eat McFlurry and healthy foods to make it up. And this is what we do in our lives. We scroll on social media to try to cover it up, to make it up. This is what is happening. Why? Because you cannot find those vibrations, those high vibrations, because you cannot find this light in you anymore. So you use all these resources outside to find light. But you know what? The light is not coming from outside. It's not coming from McDonald's. It's not coming from Netflix, from scrolling on social media. It's not coming from there. It's coming from within. I'm not telling you that you're not going to watch Netflix from now on if you do these practices. Okay, I watch Netflix sometimes. Okay, I'm telling you that you are not going to use this stuff to feel happy, to try to feel happy, to make it up. Okay, you are going to use it whenever you need it, and inside you're going to feel happy. Why 20 days through? So why 20 days? 20 days because when we do 20 days, when we are repeating a pattern, when we are doing the same activities, the same techniques for 21 days, what we are doing is we are creating habits. So after 21 days, if we do this for 10 days, after 10 days, we are not going to feel that much. Probably we are going to come back to our life right now. If you do it for 21 days, after 21 days, you are not going to think about the program. You are not going to think about, I need to go to the video and check what is happening. You are going to embody the what you learned in the program. And then it's going to be automatic for you. You're going to wake up. You're going to feel like, okay, let's breathe. And then you're going to sit down, close your eyes, and start breathing. Some moments you are doing something, you feel stressed. Oh, I feel stressed. I'm going to stop. I'm going to start breathing. I'm going to use the techniques that we learn. We learn many techniques in the 21-day program. And then you are going to regulate yourself. You are going to regulate your nervous system. You are going to come back to this high vibrational state when you feel like you are out, because it's easy to get out. But if we're creating a habit then I know how to come back very quickly. So it's not, you will not need your mind, your conscious mind to think, oh, I need a video from Alexis from InnerCamp to, no, it will be coming automatically. So this is why 21 days. I felt quite pressured to use the voice and be loud during the workshop. It contributed to the feeling of not doing it right, if I'm doing it more quietly or even just internally. Yeah, sometimes, we're asking you, for example, to use your voice. So the question is, let's say there are two ways, two things. The question is, am I getting blocked? And am I, for example, if Alexis is telling me, use your voice or do this or shake or whatever, am I connecting to my body and realizing that I don't need that and then I don't do it? Perfect, no problem at all. You need to follow your intuition. You need to follow your body. When I tell you, use your voice, shake, whatever, the other part could be like, maybe my mind is creating excuses and saying, oh, don't do it, you don't need it, don't allow yourself. Yeah, people told you that you should not use your voice. If you are in that situation, it's because there are blockages. And it's not a problem, but I'm aware that I have blockages around, for example, using my voice. I remember a long time ago, I got used to get sick with my throat. I got sick very easily. I was wearing a scarf all the time in every season of the year. Even here in summer in Spain, I was wearing a scarf, a very thin scarf, of course, in summer. But I was getting sick. I got blocked here. And then I felt sometimes I was aphonic. For a few days, I was not able to speak at all when I catch a cold. And at some point in my healing journey, I realized that, hey, this is not because of the weather. I'm here in Spain, it's not so cold, so why am I getting sick? And I realized that I had a huge blockage in my throat. And since that, I'm able to set boundaries, to say yes, to say no. I normally don't use scarves. I feel a huge difference. I don't get sick because of the weather. So it's important to really listen to your body and, hey, am I not doing the practice? Why? Because my body knows that it's not right, or it's because I feel a blockage. And it's okay if you feel a blockage. This is part of the journey. This is why we are here, and this is why we are doing these practices. What is your view on binaural sounds? Vadas is asking. I have a question about binaural sounds. Every time I meditate, I feel binaural sounds are so powerful on me that I start worrying if they can actually be damaging. As I feel so much sensation in my brain, is the vibration. It's so strong that I sometimes finish meditating as I worry this can be damaging. It feels so paranormal. Binaural sounds are very powerful. So what we do in our virtual workshops, we use binaural sounds in a controlled way. Not all the time, but in a controlled way to activate different brain waves. So when you're meditating in an uncontrolled way, for example, like you are mentioning right now, thank you. Someone is talking about my accent. Linda, thank you so much. So if you are listening binaural sounds for a very long period of time, so you're going to go into you're going to activate different brain waves. And then this might not be the right brain waves for you, the right state for you. If you feel like you're meditating on these binaural beats and then you don't feel right, it's better not to stay there. These are there is a lot of content on YouTube, There are many meditations, breathwork sessions, many things going on there, but some of them can be dangerous because some of them are very long or are not the right fit for what you need. So this is why we have these 21-day programs, is because it's like specific techniques that you do day by day, and every day is becoming more and more intense. So you are regulating your nervous system. When you go to a YouTube video and then you do a practice for 1 hour, it might be that it's too much for you, okay? So my recommendation, listen to your body. Is this right for me? It's not right for me. If you feel like at some point it's not right for you, remove your headphones and don't continue doing the work, because it can be against the process, against the healing process. Is there any risk to that our Kundalini can be fully awakened during these workshops? Yeah, it can be awakened, no problem at all. I have had many participants with their Kundalini energy awakened, and they had really amazing experiences. Sometimes they are taken over by the Kundalini energy, and it's hard for them to enjoy the workshop. So it's very important. Normally, I ask them to talk to me, and I ask them to really focus more on the techniques, because when you are just, when your Kundalini energy is controlling everything that is happening, very often what is going to happen is that you are not able to do breath work, you are not able to do the practices, then you are out. And then you cannot really release some blockages, you cannot really connect to your voice, etc. So it's important that somehow you connect more, you get a bit more grounded, and then you don't go into, very often what I see is people go into a mystical state and they're activating too much Kundalini energy, and we don't need that. We don't want that in our processes. We have also Kundalini activation sessions, and we also have a training called Holosomatic Energy Facilitator Training, where we do that. And then we activate the Kundalini, but it's not what, for example, try to do in the workshop. What we did in the workshop is to try to activate it in a very gentle way, not in a very strong way. Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for your question. And thank you so much, Ana Maria. Ana Maria is there, is this beautiful lady there with the white or beige clothes. So she's answering the question. Thank you, Ana Maria. Okay. Last question I see here. When I do breath work, my upper body starts to lift off the floor. Why is this? When I do breath work, my upper body starts to lift off the floor. So it can be different things. It can be blockages. It can be trauma release. It can be energy. It can be the way you are breathing. So it can be many different things. Okay. So what you can do in the next sessions is to breathe softer. When you breathe softer, you try to identify what is happening in your body. Okay. If you would like to know more, I mean, if you want to, the best would be to work with a facilitator. If you are joining us in our virtual workshops, then the facilitator is going to be there with you and is going to see you through the camera, so it can give you feedback on what they are seeing. Okay. But it can be many different things. Amazing. I think we are already very late. So I want to say thank you to all of you for being here. First of all, for joining the workshop, for being there, for doing the hard work, and finally to be here for doing this integration call with me. And I hope this call was useful. I would love to see you in the 21-day activation program, because I know that can help you a lot. Of course, we have facilitator trainings. So if you would like to become a facilitator with InnerCamp, you have our doors open, and Ana Maria can tell you more, can give you more details about the facilitator trainings. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for being here today. Take care and have a lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.